Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here at the Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, and today we're answering a question of somebody who asked me, Shawn, how do you turn while maintaining your tilt? And obviously we cover this in a lot of videos, but very specifically we're going to cover it in this one, and I'm sure many of you are going to appreciate that. So I always like, starting off with a basic task just to get the understanding. So for a lot of my students, they say, okay, it feels really weird when I'm tilted and when my head is on an angle and my grip is, my right hand is under the left hand and my grip's a little strong. So let's start with a basic hammering. So if I wanted to hammer down on something, so this is what it would look like. So you notice actually my head has to be a little tilted this way so I can hammer down. Now, if I wanted to hammer through, notice how natural this looks like? Everyone gets into the same position. Nobody does this differently. This is how your brain instinctively wants to apply pressure with the radius and the ulna pointed and stacked downwards. Now, if I want to go that way, notice how I'm naturally going to tilt in that direction. So, how do I turn? Well, I'm going to notice how I'm staying along my door frame so I can hammer straight in. I'm not going to slide off. I can't hammer it there. I'm not going to slide in. I can't hammer it there. So notice we just took care of two basic, extreme needs in the golf industry. I just want to hammer there. So if I do with both hands, I'm hammering straight down. Notice how my body is straight up and down. I'm hammering in. Notice now I am a little more braced against my forward side. I'm very strong from the right against the left, and I'm getting ready to hammer into the side of the door frame. So let's look at what it looks like down the line. So notice down the line, straight. Notice I'm square to it. And then when I get behind it, see that? It looks like my shoulders are a little bit closed, my hips and knees are a little closed. Well, that's where I can hammer. So notice, as I turn, my hammer is not moving along the line of my shoulders, is it? They're two independent things. So if I had a battering ram in my hands and I wanted to ram through this door, notice my battering ram is swinging along that line. So I feel the weight of that battering ram. I gather it. So notice I'm not going to gather it this way. I'm just going to scratch the door. I'm gathering it away from the door so it pounds through the door. Now, let's look at what it looks like on this side. There's my ram through the door frame. Gather my battering ram. So notice how much turn I have. My hips and shoulders, that's what we talk about, hips and shoulders, right? It's actually rib cage and pelvis sitting on top of my legs, and I'm using my legs. Notice I'm digging myself into the sand here to get some proper footing so I can use the ground to remove my rib cage and pelvis out of the way of this battering ram so it can gather. So notice how my left arm is fully accessible to the backswing. If I don't move, whoops, left arm collapses, right arm chicken wings. Remove out of the way, left arm is free, right arm is extended. So there's the width that you get. Boom, on the way through. So notice how my arms, club, and shoulders form a nice rectangle. Rectangle is intact, through, rectangle is intact. Why? Because my turn, my rib cage and pelvis are getting out of the way. And what moves them out of the way are my legs. So all I'm doing is let the battering ram go through the door. That's all I'm thinking about. So let the battering ram go through the door. So I get full turn and my arms are allowed to track with the battering ram in the direction I want them to go. So if we look at the golf swing now, if I get my setup, now here's a really, really swell tip here. This has been working so well. At the bottom of this board here, you'll notice I got, let me get this out. See the lines I drew at the bottom? So two lines about an inch apart, inch and a half, And this is the side of my tree. So I put this in here, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready. So the leading edge of my club is my axe. So I get my golfing position here to line that up. Notice I'm hovering between two lines, and I can see the two lines. Here I can't. There I can. Okay, so I take my axe. I'm going to heave it into my backswing. So you'll notice the only place I can heave it to deliver right between those lines, see that? I'm not going to heave it this way. So you notice it's going to fall, clip my pinky toe, and go across the tree in that direction. Certainly don't want that. And you'll notice that you would never do that intentionally. So I'm not going to heave it away from me and let it fall into my ankle and break my ankle. And I'm certainly not going to heave it upwards. Let's see if we can get this to stand here. There we go. I'm not going to heave it upwards. I'm just going to shred bark down into the ground. There's only one place I can go. Yes, I can catch the two lines. No, I can't. Yes, no, I can't. Yes, I can. Boom, got him. Got him. Got him. So you notice how nicely on plane I am? So if we look at it from this side, I'm just going to go into the board at the surface of the sand. Got it. Notice if I did this, I'm no longer at the surface of the sand. I'm going up the tree. No good. If I did this, I'm going into the sand. No good. If I do this, I'm staying at the surface of the sand at the base of the tree. Surface of sand, surface of sand. Notice my head doesn't move away from the tree, doesn't move into the tree. I'm simply staying on task. When I stay on task, using the weight of I'm using simply the weight of my axe to drive into the tree. Look how accurate that is. I'm always going to be on plane when I'm using the weight of the axe to deliver to a specific area of the tree between the lines. Gather, let the weight catch between the lines. Now, if I don't move my legs, watch this. We're doing a series right now on the premium channel where we talk about the kinetic chain. And when I'm using the weight of my axe, heave, if I don't move my body, see what happens? Can't get there. Look at it from this angle. Gather, let it fall. Can't get there. Look how far I am. So what happens is the brain's got to go get the ground. Use the ground to get the body out of the way so the weight of the axe can get back to the tree. Look at that. So at the moment of impact, notice how my rib cage and pelvis are slightly open. The weight is on the left side. The left side is clearing this way so I have access to getting to the tree in that direction. So, heave, let it fall to the side of the tree. Let it fall through the side of the tree, the body will move. Heave, let it fall down. Well, that's not going to get to the side of the tree, is it? So when we say let it fall, we're talking about letting it fall through a specific task, through the cut of grass, through the side of the tree. Very important that you relate it to a very specific task. So I hope you enjoyed our little tidbit there. There's a fabulous little tips in that. And please get onto our premium channel. We got just a boatload of very specific information with, dual screens. You can see, if I don't have a videographer with a couple of cameras and a good editor, it's going to be difficult for me to do this on my own. So this is why we have some nice tips on this channel. And the premium channel has got the very elaborate 2-angle, slow motion, all that good stuff that Mr. Matt Bloy is putting together for us. Enjoy.